the yellow's on the broom, when the yellow's on the broom, I'll take ye on the road again when yellow's on the broom. The scaldies cause dirty tanks and sconce our bairns in school.
When the yellow's on the broom, certainly on the broom now anyway. This is a story for the Kist that I found, and I'd heard it as a bairn, and the man who tells the story is one of the Stewarts of Blair, Andy. And Andy had a way of telling a story that you never sat in his company listening to it. You were kind of up on your haunches listening to it because you just wanted to get moving and you wanted to get into the story. And I've tweaked it a wee bitty, just so that you will be able to feel the characters within this tale. It's called Jordy and the Ghost, and here we go. Now, Jordy and Maggie and the two laddies had spent too long on the road that year. It was getting cold, winter was coming, there was flickering of snow in the air, and Maggie says to Jordy, we'll need to get ourselves lying down, she says, it's getting off a call. So they made their way up to this old ruin of a smithy's, and in they went, and the two laddies got the tent out of the pram, because all they had was a pram. All the world of goods was in this pram. And the laddies took the tent out of the pram. They were only bairns, only about 10-year-old, twins they were. And they laid the camp in at the side of the old bothy. There was a hearth there, and Jordy got a fire going. And there was 2 rabbits that the laddies had snared, and there was kind of remains of the rabbits, so they were going to have something to eat before night come. Took all the straw, it was lying, a lot of straw lying about, and they flung it on top of the tent there. And they curried down, the 2 boys, after they'd finished their supper, they curried down, and they went sound asleep. And Maggie was sitting up there, and she says, Jordy, she says, can you hear anything? He says, what am I hearing now, Maggie? Please don't talk to me about your ghosts. I'm blue in the face hearing stories about ghosts. But she says, in these old buildings, she says, there's ghosts, but I can't hear you in here. So she cuddled into her bairns and she went sound asleep. And Jordy, well, he was lying there and he poked the fire, and just the last embers was there, kind of flickering and that, and the wind was blowing outside. They'd taken a couple of jute sacks and propped them up against the windows because there wasn't any glass. And just as he was shutting his in to fall out into sleep, he heard, Jordy, Hyman, are you there? And he was, who's shouting at me? Come out. Now, when you shout at somebody, a traveller, to get out, you want to fight with them. It's to pag at each other. So he said, no, man, he says, I'm lying here beside my wife and my bairns and I'm going nowhere. But on the road all day, he said, away you go. Where and challenge somebody else. Jordy, I'm not here to challenge you, man. I'm asking you to follow me. I've got something for you. I've been waiting a long, long while, and an honest man coming by, he said. And I seen you coming up the road, and I said to myself, now that's the fella. Honest, I see it in your eyes, Jordy. Now come out. You're wanting an honest man to come out with you, and coming on snow, he says, you're no wise man. For the love of God, away home to wherever you come from. Please, Jordy, please come out. I promise you, he says, you will benefit from coming out. Well, there was something authoritarian about the man's voice, and there was also something genuine and honest about it. Jordy grumbled and got up and he put on his coat and he tied it in the waist and he put his boots on and then his socks and he had no laces. He was going flapping about the boots, and he opened the door and wow, there was a gust of wind near blew out his hand, and he says, hello, are you there? Follow me right now, Jordy, he says, because time is not on my side. Follow me right now. Well, all right then, but who are you? Where are you? I can't see you. I can't see you in the snow. Just follow my voice. Well, Jordy took off after this voice and he went all the way along the side of the wood. He went under a bridge, along a dike, in among the sand dunes and down onto the beach and away and among the shale. And there was bits getting into his boots, and he couldn't stop and pull it out. Because this person, desperate person, wouldn't stop. And he says, would you just hang in, man? I got up to you. Follow me, Jordy, he says. Hurry up now. Well, he found himself at a cave. And he says, are you in the cave? I am in the cave. Come on in now, hurry up. So he came in and he says, where are you, man? You don't need to see me, Jordy. Now run your hand up the side of the wall. Green, slimy wall with a sea spray on it. He says, I've got my hand on the side of the wall. He says, just drop it down a little. He says, there's an opening there. It's just a small opening. He says, just put your hand in there. Jordy dropped his hand down. He says, I'm feeling like a big stain, like a big old clacking in here or some kind of thing. Pull it out, man. He says, just get a hold of it and pull it out. So Jordy put his famils under the top of the stone and he pulled it out like that. He says, I've got it out. He says, right. He says, what's in there is for you, my man. It's all honest and it's yours. Jordy dropped his hand on to this kind of trough thing in the wall of the cave, and he gathered up a dose of gold. The bigger, he couldn't count, so he didn't count how much coins was in his hand, but they were running through his fingers, and he goes, oh, mother dear, he said, oh, Lord, and it's honest. There wasn't any answer. It's mine. Still no answer. Would you come and help me? Nope, no answer at all. He was alone in the cave. Well, he was taken with this. It was a moment of wonder as he ran his fists in among all this, and he's packing them in his pocket, and more. Oh, he says, I can't get any more into my pockets. I'll push this stone back out, he says, and I'll make my way up the road to my Maggie, and oh, she will not believe this. Well, he went faster up as he come down. The ghost was gone, but he didn't know it was a ghost. Just to make it in, he says, Maggie, she says, the sunlight's coming. She says, the snow's all, where have you been all night? Oh, Maggie, you're not going to believe this. Wait till I tell you this right now. Look. Oh, Jordy, did you chore that? Is that somebody's lure? No, I never stole anybody's money, Maggie. I'm telling you, I never touched anybody's money. It's mine. A man gave it to me. A man. I think it was one of your ghosts, Maggie. I think it was one of your ghosts. I go, whoa, she says, ghosts can do that. But that's an awful lot of money. That's nothing, he says. That's a wee handful. There's a great big trough full of it, Maggie. And you and the laddies will have to help me get down there with a pram and fill the pram up with that. Oh, this is all ours. Oh, the heavens have blessed us this day. Look, he said, it's going to be a wild winter. I can feel it, he said. You and the laddies take the pram and go down and fill that up out of that trough. I'll tell you where to go. I'll show you where to go. He says, follow the footsteps in the snow. There's only mine there. I checked. There's nobody else's footsteps. Just follow them down and get up here as quick as you can. I'm going away into the town. There must be a town round about here, he said. And I'm going to buy a wee house for me and you for the winter in the bairns. All right, she says, that's a great idea, she says, because I'm starting to get off a call in here. Well, away her and the laddies went, following his footprints down the way to the cave. And he took his cell up this road. He knew there was a town round about there. Travelling folk can smell tunes for whatever reason. But he come to this castle, this great, massive castle. And he goes, wow, would you look at that house? Turrets, big turrets and windies everywhere. And he meets this old man coming up to him. He says, how you doing, sir? He says, I am fine. He said, that was a wild night of snow. Nice enough day now. Where are you going? He says, oh, I'm going into the town, he says, to see if I can buy a wee house for me and my wife, my bairns. He says, it's if you had enough money, you could buy the castle. It's for sale. Is it? If I had enough money? That's some size of a house, he said. Has it got dungeons in it? Aye, he says, there's dungeons. It goes a mile under it. Oh, he says, my Maggie would be in seventh heaven in there with all the ghosts. Well, says he, it's for sale. And where would I go to speak to the person who's selling it, dealing with the sale? Oh, well, if you get into the town, just a wee town, he said, and it's the first house you come to, it's the solicitor, the lawyer that's in there. He's called Sinclair, he says. Everybody kens Sinclair. He's got a right bonny house with big bay windows in it, he says. Just chap the door. Well, he's away like mad into that town. And right enough, he sees the door. He can't read the name above it because he never learned to read and write, but he kens it's a big fancy house, and he chaps the door, and this solicitor opens the door and says, hello, travelling man. He says, I'm not wanting any baskets or washing pegs or anything. Didn't come near me. Oh, he says, I don't want to sell you anything. I want to buy something off you. I want to give you money for something. And you know what lawyers, solicitors are, they just perk up. Oh, well, that's good, and what is it I can sell to you? See, the castle up there, well, the man, of course, bursts out laughing. There's a travelling man there, a torn coat on him and a shoes without, boots without laces and kind of wild and natural looking. And he says to him, you want to buy I want to buy that castle up there, he says. How much money are you asking for it? Well, he says, that castle's £85,000. He says, look, I'll tell you what, can I come in? I come in quickly, and he emptied his pockets out. He says, count that, he says, and there were guineas, spade guineas. And he says, oh my goodness, where did you get that? Where did you steal that, traveller? I didn't steal it. Honest money. Now, it wouldn't matter whether I'm gaining the money or the king himself's gaining the money. Money's money. Of course it is. And he counts it quickly. You've got 12,000 guineas here, man. Would that be good, he says, as a deposit on the castle? Well, he says, indeed it would. Fine, I'll go and get the rest. Well, he leaves the deposit with the solicitor, and he goes away up the road, and here's Maggie and the laddies chugging this old pram up the road, sweat's pouring off them. Oh, this is an awful wait to a pram. Never mind, he says, we'll need it. Do you dig that big care there in front of you? What, the castle? Aye, he says. Is your yaks filling up with the castle, Maggie? Oh, Lord Almighty. She said, well, we'll hurry by in case somebody comes out with big dogs and eats us and chases us. Maggie, dear, that castle is going to be your home from now on. Away and no talk rubbish. The money in the pram, he says, is going to go for the sale of that castle. Right? Now let's get and see the man that's going to sell us the castle. Well, they pushed the pram in, chap at this door. He didn't have to chap twice because he was waiting to open it. Took the money out of the pram, counted 85,000. Oh, handed them the keys, gave them all the paperwork. You're now called Laird Mackenzie. Laird Mackenzie. That's not my name. My name's Jordy McPhee. Laird Mackenzie, because the town and all the land that you see, as far as your eyes can fill up with it, belongs to you, sir. Don't call me sir. Never ever call me sir. Well, Lord, look, there's only one Lord, and he's up there, and he's no interested in what I'm doing with a castle. Now, look, he said, this is going to be our home. And they got into the castle. The wee man that he spoke to earlier was the keeper of the castle, and he comes running in and he says, we're going to get the staff all ready for you. And he says, staff? What am I wanting to look at a buckle sticks for? No, and he says, that's the workers. Oh, right, that's nice. Bring them all down. Well, he met all the workers. There was a butler. There was a cook and several people working in the kitchen. There was bed chambermaids. There were people working all through this castle. And he said, this is lovely. But boys and girls and men and women, from this day on, your wages are doubled. I will pay you double. Whatever the laird gain you, I will pay you double. Where is the laird, by the way? Oh, he's away dealing with his affairs abroad. He'll be quite happy to get the money for the castle. He's hard up, you see. He's not got a lot of money. Oh, well, that's fine. Well, do you know this? Jordy settled so well into the castle, the lairdship, that there wasn't a single tradesman in the whole town that didn't have full-time employment. He told everybody, right, you go away and fix the fences, you go and do this, you go and check the trees, The wee laddies, the two laddies, the twins, that were up in the turrets and they're shouting, Mommy, Daddy, there's a ween of rabbits coming in and out the wood. Will we snare them for our supper? No, you'll not snare them for your supper. You'll leave the rabbits alone. We've got enough money to eat any kind of food. Let the poor wee rabbits live. In fact, leave the wee rabbits. The fox will need to eat the rabbits, and that'll stop him eating the lambs off the farm. So just let's work nature's way. In no time at all, the days passed, there was people singing in the castle. Maggie had carpeted the dungeons. She was sitting down there. She never came up to talk to anybody. She was cracking all day with the Methuselahs and the Bethabas and the Moses all down in this dungeon. She got rid of the doors off the prisons. She got rid of all the torturous things that hung about the wall on chains. It was like a children's playground down in the dungeons. He got a man in to sort the woodworm because he says the whole place was going to crumble to bits if they didn't fix the woodworm. Well, he did all the wonderful things, that man. Jordy McPhee was the laird of that castle, and he did wonderful things. And she swore blind that she was more related to the laird, the Mackenzie, because she says all Mackenzies have got sharp cheekbones, and she had sharp cheekbones. So she says, one day I'll get to see this laird and have a crack with him to see who he really is. Well, the door opens. In fact, it was never shut. The door was always left open. People come in and out. Folk were coming in, they were going right into the kitchen getting a drop of tea. Folk who were wandering through. Seafarers, all kinds of people knew that castle, Geordi the laird's castle, was an open house. And it was wonderful how they all just got on together. No restrictions at all. He'd even made friends with the policeman, who he nicknamed Nailbrush because he had this big white moustache above his lip. He came in and out. Never had a problem. One day he came in with the farmer and says to him, Jordy, the field at the bottom of the field is bogged down with the flooding we've had off the river, and that's where the Romany people come and all the travellers come for their horse fair. Oh, says he, a horse fair here in the... Aye, oh, tell them to come round about the castle. Well, the travelling people came, the Romany people with their painted wagons and their shire horses, and they built their fires, and they had their chitties and their cookavies hanging off, boiling with water to make tea. It was like, honestly, it was like a free place, and even the townsfolk came in. And when the Romany people seen this big castle, they were in and out. The bairns were all in, and they were having sing-songs in the drawing room. They were having meals, and they'd even nicknamed the chef Maggie Pie, because her pies were to die for. This was a wonderful place, and the fair lasted, and the fair ended, and everybody went away, and time passed on. The two boys had been enrolled in the local school, and they can now read and write, and everything was positive. It was just wonderful. But when the travelling folk wearied away down the road, and they went away back to their own places, he looks at Maggie and he says, Maggie says, there's been good fun in this castle. Ah, she says, it has. She says, but you know, I miss the old ways, Jordy. She says, I miss the old ways. Ah, so do I, he said. And I think the laddies have learned enough, he says. Well, we'll move on. Give the castle back to the folk and let them do what they run through it. Aye, we'll go at the end of the month, she said. We'll say our farewells to everybody. But after 2-3 days, this big black Rolls Royce pulls up the driveway. And he looks out the window, he says, Maggie, Dick, bean cows coming up the road. Now in Traveller, that means posh people. And they got out of the car, and there was this man, and he looked, in fact, he looked like Maggie. He had sharp cheekbones. And she says, I think that's the laird, you can. He says, I think you're right. Running up the side as bright as nail brush, and he says, Jordy, it's the laird and the lady. Oh, he says, come on in, folks. Come on, sit down, get a wee drop of tea. Have a wee blather with you. Well, they could hardly speak because posh people have difficulty talking. You know, they've got these, it's like they've filled their jaws with marbles or something. You just, hello, we heard all about you, though. We thought we'd just come in and say hello. Well, hello to you, sir, he says. what one of the Mackenzies are you? Well, the clan Mackenzie. Well, my wife says you're the spitting image of an old uncle of hers, so you must be travelling folk. Well, we may have been at one time. We're all travellers, you know. It's in the Bible. Aye, isn't it so? It is. It's in the Bible. I wish I could read the Bible. But my two laddies have learned to read and write, and they'll teach me the Bible. Well, that's lovely. He says, we just come to have one last look round the old home before we move on. Where are you moving to? Well, we're going to buy a little mansion somewhere, and we'll just come to say hello. Well, then he say hello, he says, because me and my wife have just had a wee blather about going on the way. You're going away? Yes. And we're going to give you the castle. We don't have the money to buy it back. We're not wanting any money off you, man. He says, we're giving you the castle back. And he had to sit down. The man was in shock. He says, I'm getting my ancestral home back? Yes, you're getting your ancestral home back. Who built this castle, by the way? Well, it was when he counts 6 great-great-grandfathers, and the brother of my 6th great-grandfather built this home. He was a seafaring man. He made a fortune abroad, gems and such as. But we all searched for it. Generations have searched for his fortune, and we could never find it. I can for sure now, he says, that you're getting this castle back, and you're the rightful man to get it. And Jordy and Maggie gave the castle back to the old laird and his wife, and everything went back to normal. And Jordy and Maggie and the two laddies with a pram headed off back down the road before winter come. I'm sure they'd find somewhere to bide, and they'd find somewhere to travel to. And when they come to the end of the road, and as I say, winter was coming, he says to her, well, we'll buy a wee house somewhere, Maggie. And where are we going to get the lowy to buy a wee house? Look, woman, he says, you never give everything away. And he lifted her wee rug up, and there was a dose of gold at the bottom of the pram. And that was the story of Jordy and Maggie and the ghost.